including defensins, which are cationic antimicrobials, lysozyme, and antimicrobial lectins. We know enterocytes also produce antimicrobials, so the liver produces bile acids, which are antimicrobial, and then microbes actually are a very rich source of antibiotics in the gut through the production of metabolic byproducts, bacteriocins, enterocytes, and other toxins. Work from my lab a number of years ago looked at the role of enteric defensins in the regulation of the intestinal microbiota, and this is looking at defensins in Panicels. This is an EM from Andy Waldett's lab of a Panicel, which is found at the base of the small intestinal crypt. Panicels line mucosal surfaces in the small intestine at the base of the crypt. They produce and secrete a wide array of immune effectors and antimicrobials, including defensins. And work from our group showed that if you change the composition of antimicrobial peptides within the Panicel, this is using linnermate controls with either reciprocal models of adding a human defensin or removing production of any Panicel defensins, we see reciprocal shifts in the microbiome. And then we also found that if you alter the composition of Panicel antimicrobial peptides, you alter the composition of the intestinal microbiota. And we and many other groups, of course, have shown that if you alter the microbiota, you alter mucosal immune responses, and obviously you alter a lot of the animal physiology. But then we turn to another question, which was, what is the role of antimicrobials produced by commensal bacteria in either forming or competing for an intestinal niche? And for this, we turn to use Enterococcus faecalis, which is a gram-positive coccus. It's a facultative anaerobe, and it's a commensal of both animals and the human GI tract, and it's actually quite broadly bound as a commensal. It's intrinsically resistant to cephalosporin antibiotics, and it's also extremely good at picking up antibiotic resistance genes via horizontal gene transfer. This has resulted in the development of multi-drug-resistant strains, which are common causes of hospital-acquired infections, both Eufysium and Epicalis, and they've been designated serious public health threats by the CDC. So our interest was to investigate how antimicrobial peptides contribute to Enterococcus faecalis niche formation and competition in the GI tract. To do this, we needed to generate an animal model that did not disrupt the GI tract with antibiotics, because if you disrupt the GI tract with antibiotics, you're no longer studying colonization, you're studying infection. We did this by feeding mice with Enterococcus in the drinking water for 2 weeks, and after withdrawing Enterococcus from the drinking water, we followed enterococcal colonization in the feces and then at harvest of GI tract portions. And we found, this is showing over 4 weeks, but we've done this as far as 11 or 12 weeks, which is as far as we've taken an experiment, and we find continuous shedding of Enterococcus from the GI tract of these mice. And when we sacrifice the mice, we find that there's consistent, stable colonization of the mouse GI tract without prior antibiotic disruption. So now we're able to get a lab strain of Enterococcus to colonize the mice, and this allows us to look at how it forms its niche and how it competes for its niche. And it turns out that Enterococci can harbor plasmids, pheromone-responsive conjugated plasmids that produce bacteriocins. The plasmid of our interest is the one depicted here, which is TTD1, and it harbors bacteriocin 21. And what we find is that bacteriocins, which are antimicrobial peptides, they can specifically target and kill bacteria of the same genus, and they act like damaging cell membranes. And this is an example of AS48, which is essentially the same as bacteriocin 21. It's from cell membranes, and it is broadly anti-gram-positive in vitro. Even though these are considered to be somewhat specific, this is actually relatively promiscuous bacteriocin. So the bacterial strain that harbors a bacteriocin plasmid also encodes an immunity peptide, and that is used to protect itself from being killed by cell bacteriocin. Enterococci produce bacteriocin to give them a competitive advantage, and alternatively, under the correct circumstances, instead of killing another organism with this bacteriocin, it actually encodes also what's called a conjugation apparatus, so that it actually directly can contact another Enterococcus and transmit that bacteriocin to Enterococcus that lacks it. And this requires direct cell-cell contact, and we actually use that back to our advantage to understand the niche in the GI tract. So what we found in this experiment, where we were just looking at culture of Enterococci in the GI tract, the mice that did not receive Enterococcus, mice that got our Enterococcus strain that lacked bacteriocin, and mice that harbored the bacteriocin, the mice came with a full complement of Enterococci when they arrived from the vendor. If we colonized them with lab Enterococci without bacteriocin, it colonized at a low level, but persistently. If we colonize with Enterococci that has the bacteriocin, it colonizes at a much higher level, and essentially overtakes the entire niche of Enterococci in the GI tract. If we knock out the bacteriocin, or the bacteriocin operon, here we have Enterococci colonizing, here we have the bacteriocin Enterococci colonizing, and here we have the knockout. It no longer can colonize. It turns out if we restore the bacteriocin operon on a separate plasmid, it regains the ability to colonize, but it does not regain the ability to conjugate, and we use that also later. So the other thing we noticed is we're looking at what happens whether conjugation or competition is what's going on in the GI tract. So we first colonized mice with Enterococci that lacks bacteriocin, and then chased in what we would call our regular strain that produces bacteriocin. And what we found, this is looking at transconjugates, this is looking at the first organisms and which ones have picked up the bacteriocin plasmid. And over the period of 5 weeks, 100% of these strains that are remaining have actually picked up bacteriocin. So this suggests that when delivered sequentially, the Enterococcus harboring bacteriocin can overtake the entire niche in the GI tract. And this also tells us something very important, which is that Enterococci localize to a specific physical niche in the GI tract and directly physically interact with other Enterococci in the GI tract. We thought we could employ this therapeutically, and so we did. We looked at VRE, and here we colonized mice fine with multi-drug-resistant Enterococci. In this case, we used an Enterococcus, our complemented strain, because we did not want to conjugate bacteriocin activity to a multi-drug-resistant strain. We thought that was a bad idea to get another mechanism to colonize. So we chased with a strain that could produce bacteriocin, but couldn't conjugate it. And what we see is over several weeks after treating the mice, we can almost completely eliminate colonization by VRE with the administration of this bacteriocin-producing strain. We find that because we use a complemented strain, we could not conjugate plasmid to the VRE strain. What was also interesting is we looked at the microbiome, and we saw that when we compared the microbiota of Enterococcus colonized mice versus TPD1 colonized mice, there were some significant but subtle differences in the microbiome. They were entirely driven by changes in mucospirillin shaleri. It turns out that mucospirillin is not a gram-positive and it's certainly not an Enterococcus. So we believe that these changes are indirect changes and not directly caused by direct killing from the bacteriocin. And we just compared this to conventional antibiotics. This is mice that are treated with streptomycin, and we see much more significant differences in colonization between mice treated with streptomycin compared to mice given bacteriocin-harbored Enterococcus. So unlike conventional antibiotics, bacteriocin 21 primarily impacts Enterococcal populations, and this suggests that we can actually therapeutically target a specific niche in the GI tract by engineering organisms. This takes advantage of two aspects. One is it takes advantage of the native biology of the Enterococcus to gravitate to the right place in the GI tract, and then it takes advantage of the specificity of the bacteriocin to specifically eliminate the multi-drug resistant strain. It turns out this strain works on Eufysium as well. But then we found a little focus in what we were doing, and this leads to my discussion of the knowledge gaps that need to be addressed before we can advance these types of treatments. We looked at gene expression from these mice, from the guts of these mice that were treated either with nothing, or with enterococcus alone, or with enterococcus and Harvard-Bacteriacin. We isolated RNA from each of these segments of the GI tract, and then we looked at the microarrays, and we did principal component analysis just to look at the microarray. And I'm just going to take you through the small intestine. We see that the control mice are clustered very closely together. The ones that have just been colonized by our lab strain of enterococcus actually cluster quite separately from our controls. And those that receive the enterococcus harboring TPD1 cluster separately as well. So this suggests that we have differential gene expression driven by the colonization and also by the TPD1, the effect of TPD1. And this is actually a major knowledge gap if we want therapeutically intervene in changing the microbiome. This is an important translational goal, intervention, but it may lead to unintended consequences. And I apologize for the stick drawing and all the arrows everywhere, but essentially we don't have the slightest idea at this point what is affecting what in the GI tract. Either these microbes we know are producing this toxin, it's killing other microbes. Are we signaling the host through the production of antimicrobial peptides? Is this organism directly signaling the host? Are other metabolites signaling the host? Are we directly changing other members of the microbiota, or is the host response changing other members of the microbiota? So we know that we have unintended consequences here, and we need the knowledge for precise intervention. So our knowledge gaps, what I consider a major knowledge gap is a better understanding of micro-microbe and micro-host interaction in the GI tract, which will allow more precise manipulation of populations. This will entail the development of good systems, genetic systems for genetic manipulation of commensal species, a greater understanding of the bacterial physiology of commensal species, notobiotic systems with graduated complexity to take apart these interactions, and also the identification and characterization of physical and metabolic subniches within the gut. And many of these things have been raised over time through many of the speakers over the last day. The collateral benefits to this, other than precise intervention, is just having a better understanding will enhance our ability to make sense of our large data sets in our current microbiome studies. And also, it should allow more appropriate sequence annotation and improve our database accuracy, which is clearly a concern for understanding our current studies. And finally, the people who did this work are here. Most of the work I talked about today was done by Sushma Khamenei, who was a very gifted postdoc in the laboratory. A large group of collaborators. Chris Kristich is my collaborator for all of our enterococcal genetics, and our company agencies, of course. And speaking something about 36 seconds.
Thank you. Great presentation, and 30 seconds has less than 15 minutes. So we have our last speaker for this session, Dr. Ramling Xavier from Harvard University, and will present microbes, molecules, and methods of immunity.
So I want to thank you guys, the organizing committee, for this invitation. And what I'd like to do in the next 15 minutes is to give you some highlights of how we're approaching the gut microbiome in health and disease. So broadly, the gut is primarily walled to absorb nutrients, and despite sort of years of understanding of this process, I think there's still a deficiency in trying to understand what are the receptors that sense these nutrients. At the same time, the gut is walled with a complex array of various receptor systems that sense pathogens, and today we still understand how these commensals are sensed and responded. But the first thing I'm talking about is this increasing recognition of how dietary factors and commensals contribute to a metabolic signaling pool that then educates gut immunity through a large panel of receptors that result in innate and adaptive immunity. So broadly, when we look at the gut, there are many firewalls that restrict access of these commensal microbes to encounter and signal through epithelium. There are a number of innate and adaptive systems that in fact control these responses. And Martha and Shengwei, two postdocs fellows in the lab, were interested in how do these microbes or commensals interact with the mucin layer and then contribute to signaling and homeostasis. So it's a very simple approach. They ask the question, are there mucin utilizing genes? So are there enzymes and transporters that we can manually curate and then try to identify using computational approaches which are the bugs that express these enzymes and transporters. So in the principle here is to look at the MAC2 peptide, which is generated by a carbohydrate chain that has terminal salic acid on sucrose that undergoes cleavage at sites and then recognized by these transporters. So the initial analysis that Shengwei did with help of Chris Huggenhauer to identify these enzymes and transporters, computationally search the human microbiome one database to identify microbes that selectively express these transporter genes, whether they be enzymes or transporters. And what we observed was a clear enrichment in these class of microbes, and as we show here, four of these Clostridiales species robustly like these enzyme enrichments. So with this background, what Martha then asked was using the simple epithelial injury model, so the DSS model that both Andrew and Dana just alluded to ask the question if these mice were then enlarged with these individual bugs, could you then alter the susceptibility to epithelial injury with the idea that if you don't have a mucin barrier, then you're predisposed to additional injury. So what she identified was an expected academic and eosinophilia treatment that attenuates the epithelial injury with DSS, which is shown by many labs, but also observed that another Clostridiales member called Streptococcus faeciei also increased weight when enlarged in the setting of this model. Examining the strains that were identified in this setting, we identified there were 5 strains of Streptococcus faeciei, and by tactile sequencing, Martha and Shengwei observed that there were 2 strains that expressed a phenylacetase dehydrated gene cluster, whereas the Streptococcus fanatis lacked an initiator sequence. So using these 3 microbes, we then did QTOF-MS to try to identify are there metabolites that could be made by these bugs that could potentially signal in this mucin-dependent program. So what we identified were 2 indole-containing molecules that were differentially produced by the bacteria that contain the phenylacetase dehydratase cluster. So they produce, for example, indole-propionic acid and indole-acrylic acid, whereas there was a non-differential production of another propionic acid metabolite. What we also observed is that when comparing the sequences of IPA to IA with the presence of this double bond, which I'm going to get to in some of the signaling experiments. So with the availability of these 2 molecules, then Martha did 2 simple experiments. One is to ask the question, how do organoids respond to these molecules? And then how do organoids and underlying macrophages respond to these micromolecules? And notice that both IPA and IA induced the production of mucin 2, so suggesting that they signal to other cells. And also increased the production of IL-10, a cytokine that then attenuates signaling. So using a reductionist system of both organoids with and without macrophages, they show that they both have the properties of increasing the mucin 2 peptide and increasing IL-10. The phenotype of IA as well as IgA was also seen in clinical blood cells, showing that they both attenuate the production of IL-1 beta and IL-6. If you test these molecules and expose them to clinical blood cells, you can see that IA in fact and IgA to a lesser amount of increased expression of NRF2 genes that I listed here. And the motivation of this type of experiment was the presence of a double bond in IA compared to IgA, suggesting that this might be a better electrophilic compound. So with this data, we asked what is the function of human disease relevant to this observation, and so we went back to the genomic data set that is generated in the lab with both HSV2 support and other data finding agency to ask what happens to these two clusters in patients who have inflammatory bowel disease compared to those who did not have that. As you can see here, both patients with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis have a reduced incidence of this phenolphthalein this cluster compared to the controls. So in one, I'm trying to show you that we use the simple computational approach to identify transporters and enzymes that are important in utilizing or metabolizing nutrients. We focused on pepper after as an example and showed that the gene cluster here produces a tryptophan metabolite into nucleic acid, and gone on to show that IA in fact has an influence both on the epithelial barrier as well as the immune cells, and then gone on to show some of the functional indications of this observation that this cluster of these microbes are in fact depleted in patients with inflammatory bowel disease. The second approach, and so what we need going forward, and I think Eric Ahn will talk about this, is that we need a bit of a collection of microbes that come from humans with bowel disease. We need to try to identify what do these microbes make, and then sort of embark on some of the signaling experiments that are outlined. The second approach that is broadly taken is to work with well-defined cohorts, and most of these experiments have been done using a cohort of about 1,000 children who were born in Finland, Russia, and Estonia, who basically carried defined HLA alleles. These children were followed for about 3 years, and the reason for focusing on this cohort is that children born in Finland have a very high incidence of type 1 diabetes, as well as various allergies to foods, compared to children born in Russia, who had an incidence that was significantly lower, similar to what's seen in the developing world. And asked the question by sampling these children over 3 years with monthly microbiome samples, can we try to begin to understand are there microbial factors that might tell us something about this end phenotype. So Tommy McDonough registered in the lab set about studying this, and what I'm showing you here are the